Hello, my fellow fantasy football freaks. It's me, the Fantasy Tyrant, back with another video to preview my content that you're going to get every week. If you saw my first teaser, then you might be the lucky owner of Mr. Chase Edmonds, who once again had a better fantasy football week than that bum Kenyon Drake. If you didn't watch my video last week, you probably fucked off and let Chase Edmonds follow someone else, didn't you? Dumbass. Start making better decisions. Hit that subscribe button and check out my videos every Tuesday and Wednesday, starting in, the next few weeks or so crawl out of my ass. And then you too will always be a week ahead of your competition, just like me. Ooh, sick burn. That's right, the Tyrant's 1 for 1. But let's cut the bullshit and get to the real reason you're here, right? Another sneak preview of my weekly content. So here's a peek at what you can expect on my Tuesday shows. Because if you're gonna make the mad money, then you're gonna need to learn to buy and sell. It's time, everyone, for buy and sell. Here we go. Ba-bang, ba-bang, ba-bang. Here we go. Bang, bang, bang. Buy and sell. Buy and sell. Here we go. We're going to buy and sell. We're going to tell you about the quarterbacks that we're going to buy and sell. And let's start off with Lamar Jackson. Right now's the time to go after the number 1 QB from last year because he's in a big dip and everyone is jumping ship. Now's the time to pounce like a lion on a weak gazelle. I've heard about noobs that want to trade him for like an RB2 or RB3, so let's take advantage of them, shall we? Sure, Lamar's facing a little regression this year. We expected that. From like 30 points a game, like 25 points a game. And if you look at his schedule, he's faced tough or improving defenses on the 3 weeks that he didn't reach that number. He's had a tougher schedule this year, but he's still got some juicy matchups coming up, especially toward the end of the season when it really counts against teams like Dallas, Cleveland, and the Giants in the fantasy championship week. His touchdowns are down this year, but that's going to improve over the season, so don't worry about it. Get Lamar Jackson now. Try to get him for an RB2 or a wide receiver 2, and that's not going to work for everyone. Let's say you're stacked like your high school best friend's mom at the running back position. Well, then you can afford to trade a little bit here and there and get Lamar Jackson from someone who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. So maybe you're a Matt Ryan owner who's getting a little scared. Make a trade. Put Matt Ryan in with like an RB2, RB3 even. Hey, you might be able to pick up Lamar and save your season. Lamar's going to keep running. His schedule gets easier. And that lack of touchdowns is going to regress back to the mean, okay? He's going to be picking up some. Don't worry about it, all right? You put together a trade with like a low-level RB2 or high-level RB3. Pair that with like a low-level QB1 or QB2. Hey, who knows what you can do? Give it a shot. See what happens. Ba-bang! Other QBs I think that are worth snatching away from the competition. Matthew Stafford. He had a great week 4, but he'd been pedestrian otherwise thanks to tougher defenses. However, the rest of the schedule is money. Go get him before it's too late, if it isn't already. Use a strength on your bench to exploit their weakness and get this trade done. I also like Deshaun Watson. Like Stafford, hopefully you aren't too late on this guy because the offense is starting to gel. His early schedule has been brutal. The matchups going forward are exploitable. And his talent is undeniable. Sure, he takes a plunge this year without Nuke Hopkins, but he's still a respectable QB1. Go get him on the cheap. And I like Joe Burrow. He's faced a brutal schedule so far, but he's still performed pretty well for a rookie. After this week against the Colts, the rest of the season is filled with great matchups that will allow him to open up and bring on the points and build even more chemistry with his pass catchers as the season progresses. He may be a league winner by the end, so get him now, or wait until next week after he's faced a bad matchup against the Colts, because after that, the ship will have sailed, and you'll be shit out of luck, slap nuts. So now you know who to buy, and who you're going to sell to make room for them. I got an idea. How about Teddy Bridgewater? Now I know that lately, last few weeks, Teddy's been building that bridge over troubled waters for you. I know. Lamest joke ever, right? What's not a joke? He's put together a couple good weeks in a row, but he's still only the 14th highest scoring QB over a schedule that's softer than my boner at a bar mitzvah. And as CMC gets healthy and takes over more of the offense, you'll see less production out of Bridgewater. Plus, he's most likely not your number 1 QB, so you may as well trade him to a Dak Prescott owner who's crying in his sleep. and get a running back 2 or a wide receiver 2, or maybe even better out of the deal. Other QBs I'm selling high on? Derek Carr. He's had some good games, so get rid of him and get something good before he shits himself like he does every year. Jared Goff, Mr. 25 or 10 every week, and no way to tell which is which. His numbers are too volatile to predict. He's more up and down than my blood pressure watching Jimmy Garoppolo play. So catch him on a good week and get some value for him. Finally, Ryan Fitzpatrick. The Beard's game has been solid, but those points will start shaving off as soon as Fitzmagic starts putting up his inevitable stinkers and the crowd, virtual or not, starts calling for Tua to take the helm. Get some depth at your weak positions for him now before Fitzmagic's production disappears. So there's a full preview for you of the QB buys and sells. Now I usually do the same thing with the running backs and wide receivers, but this is just a preview. But don't worry, I won't leave you hanging. Here's kind of a short, abridged version of the buy and sell for the pass catchers and running backs. Running backs I want to buy. Hey, while you can, go get Christian McCaffrey from a frustrated owner with a 1-4 record, something like that. Sell them on the Mike Davis taking reps idea. And don't worry, CMC isn't losing touches to Mike Davis when he comes back. They'll thank him for his time and he'll go back to the bench. I also like myself some Antonio Gibson, who's been steadily improving and who's just going to get more and more involved as time goes on. And with uncertainty for Washington at quarterback position, I think Gibson will carry a lot of load down there, both as a pure runner and as a pass-catching back on checkdowns. And I know J.K. Dobbins isn't lighting up the scoreboards right now, but just call this a lottery ticket that you get for practically nothing. Don't be a dipshit, don't pay too high or anything. Just add him in on an already bigger trade and hope that the other manager doesn't notice. They actually might not. If you do pick him up and the Ravens do find a way to get him in consistently, unlock that potential he's got, take that running back by committee chain off from around his neck, hey, you could have a solid RB2 sleeper in waiting. Otherwise, you have a turd that you got for nothing. That's worth the risk. And as far as Cam Akers go, basically copy and paste what I said about J.K. Dobbins. By the end of the season, he'll be the lead back for the Rams, and you can get him for peanuts now. I said peanuts. Peanuts, you sick fuck. Running backs I'd like to sell high on. Hey, speaking of those Rams running backs, Darrell Henderson is a part of that three-headed monster. And with Brown continuing to take goal line totes, and with Cam Akers bound to take over in the second half of the season like I just said, Henderson is a peak value now, so get what you can for him. Todd Gurley is playing better than expected. With the change of head coach, you can bet that potent passing game of the winless Falcons will be leaned on more heavily as the season gets later. With that and Todd Gurley's knee issues getting riskier and riskier, I'd sell him before he and his season fall apart. And sell Mike Davis before CMC comes back, or he's going to be waiver wire fodder and you'll get next to nothing for him. Now is the week, so do it. And finally, Kenyon Drake. Just watch my video last week and that's all you need to know. You may be getting 50 cents on the dollar, but his stock will plummet to nothing once Emmons solidly gets that backfield in his grasp, which may be a matter of days more so than weeks. Because Kenyon Drake sucks fucking donkey balls. As for pass catches to buy, go get Michael Thomas now. His owner is likely frustrated and done with him. But Drew Brees isn't, and once he's back after a couple weeks, he'll be his old self again. Drew Brees wants to make what is likely his last season into a swan song, and his main man, Michael Thomas, will be there every step of the way, so get him while you can. With all this COVID stuff and injuries in Tennessee, everyone forgot about how good A.J. Brown is. He was hurt, but now he's back, and he's about to bring things back up to the standard that he set for himself as a rookie last year. No sophomore slump for Brown. Go get him before his owner remembers who he is. Deebo Samuel's just going to get better each game as the 49ers' up-and-coming star wide receiver, but likely he isn't in his owner's rotation currently, so go get him in yours. And at tight end, you should go get Dalton Schultz now. He's been a phenomenal fill-in for Jarwin, and don't think that it's going to end with Andy Dalton at the helm. He doesn't tend to throw downfield much. He likes the underneath routes, and that will keep Schultz fed. I mean, look what he did with a healthy Tyler Eifert and Jermaine Gresham. I bet you the Dalton-to-Dalton connection becomes a thing that analysts talk about while chuckling like third graders who just saw a tit for the first time. So get in on that while you can. And speaking of Andy Dalton's tendencies and Cowboys pass catchers, what? You don't like my segue? Fuck you! Here's my pass catchers to sell. Amari Cooper is a downfield threat, and Andy Dalton, like I said, doesn't throw downfield. His connection with A.J. Green in Cincinnati happened mainly in the slot. CeeDee Lamb will get all the work there for the Cowboys, and Gallup seems to be Andy Dalton's outside go-to. Plus, he'll be feeding Zeke Elliott more with runs and checkdowns, and like I said, he'll be hitting Dalton Schultz underneath. Amari Cooper has been awesome this season, so his value is as high as it will be now. I bet you could even get Michael Thomas for him, and that would be a steal. Jamison Crowder's in an offense with a carousel of crap at QB, so his hot start is likely to cool off. Sell him now before his peak value craps out. Mike Evans has been Tom Brady's go-to, but Godwin's coming back, and Brady's old. Mike Evans is at a peak value right now, and while I don't see him dropping completely off the charts, you could likely get someone more on the rise like DK Metcalf, or if you need a running back, maybe James Robinson or something like that. Worth a shot. And at tight end, Bob Tunyon's never going to see another 3-touchdown game again. His percentage of touchdown to catch ratio is not sustainable, and likely you have other better options at tight end. So sell Tunyon before he puts up a 1-catch for 3-yard game and you're forced to drop him for nothing after you've already ripped the hair out of your head. Not saying he's bad, but he's not going to be consistent enough to rely on for tight end 1 numbers. And that was your sneak peek at buy and sell. Now normally I talk about the pass catcher and running back buys and sells in more depth as well, but hey, this is just a taste. So if you want to see the full shebang, go ahead and hit subscribe. Pay attention. In the next few weeks, you'll start getting content every Tuesday and Wednesday. Check out last week's video, share this one, subscribe. Let's get this shit blowing up, right? Okay? Because the fantasy tyrant is taking this world by storm. So you either get on the pain train or get the fuck out of the way. Woo woo!